But
Mm,
Tony also recommended to me to create a list to kind of go out and see who I saw talking about like the Dakota incident, create a list, and then kind of send out to them like packets of my own work for Scion, since I'm in pre-launch for that right now for issue 2. We'll talk about that later. Um,
mm,
um, but to kind of go and make a packet and see how many of the people that talked about the Dakota incident were willing to talk about me, right? Kind of go crunch numbers, do things like that. Once I told him I was an engineer and I was definitely down to go build a data set, he was like, all right, cool, go nerd about the numbers, make some graphs and stuff. Let's see what we got.
yeah,
It'll be a
yeah.
good video. And that's why I don't think Tony was being rude. I think Tony was kind of throwing me on. I'm gonna be honest. I think as a smaller creator, I think he was giving me the opportunity to use this moment to kind of leverage my own success, to go make my own content on the subject matter and kind of figure out
Mm,
where I stand on things, right? And how I can kind of go do the work for myself to see if this is actually plausible. Is this reproducible? Can we go and actually, stir up the type of um, hype that this book got, even just in a
mm,
small amount for ourselves? We talked about it before with Corey Kenshin whenever he had his book come out. This idea
yeah.
of can this kind of success be reproducible?
Mm,
So yeah, that's what I've definitely kind of started. I'm making the announcement for it a couple days. By the time we launch this, it'll definitely be there. But we're going to, on my end, I've been developing this thing that I'm calling the Blacklist, if you will.
mm.
It is
Yes.
not necessarily a list of Black creators or people in general, but they are a group of people that I saw talking about the Dakota incident and who I think would be an advocate for books that might not get the amount of shine that others would. Some that might
Mm,
be blacklisted in the minds of some. I thought that maybe you might be an advocate for that, and I decided to put you on this list. Now, I felt very stalkerish. I'm gonna be honest, going through and getting the information off of people's social medias and putting it into an Excel sheet felt akin to something that should get you put on a watch list. But apparently, this is networking. I was told this is what you have to do to succeed. So
mm.
I will be sending out essentially effectively a cold call, unfortunately, to these individuals in a couple days just to see if they are interested in kind of creating this union around sticking up for the books that maybe other people aren't willing to.